So to use a goniometer, or you're using a goniometer to measure range of motion, and this is going to be to track progress. So this would be like a post-surgical situation maybe. So this is going to be tracking his range of motion. It gives us an objective measurement. It'll measure the amount of degrees of motion that he has. So for shoulder abduction, we'll have him face the camera. So we're going to put the axis on the anterior portion of his shoulder, about near the acromion process. The stationary arm is going to be parallel with the middle of his sternum, and the moving arm is going to be pointing toward the medial epicondyle of his elbow. And he's going to be instructed to lift his shoulder up in the, to the side to 110 degrees. So go ahead and start moving. And slow down, about right, a little bit more. About there would be 110 degrees of shoulder abduction. All right, so we're going to be measuring John's wrist flexion now. So for the goniometer, we're going to place it on the medial aspect of his arm, his wrist, about where the ulnar styloid process is. So the stationary arm is going to be located along the length of the ulna, and the moving arm is going to be the length of his fifth phalange. So what John's going to do is going to have his hands open with fingers slightly relaxed, but in extension, and he's going to bring his wrist and his palm towards his head, and he's going to stop at 45 degrees. So go ahead and start. Flex, and right up, keep going. Try to keep your fingers straight. Extend it, nope, towards, like flat, yep, there you go. And you can relax a little bit. You're right about there would be 45 degrees. All right, to measure knee flexion, I'm gonna have my positioned in prone. For the goniometer, I'm gonna put the axis on the lateral epicondyle of his femur, which is about right there. The stationary arm is going to be along the lateral aspect of his femur, pointing towards the greater trochanter, and the moving arm is going to be along the fibula, pointing towards his lateral malleolus. I'm going to instruct him to flex his knee to 70 degrees, so go ahead and start moving slowly. Keep going. A little bit more, and right there would be 70 degrees of knee flexion. All right, to measure ankle inversion, I'm going to have my patient positioned on the, sitting on the table with his feet hanging off. The goniometer, the axis, is going to be placed on the anterior aspect of his ankle, midway between the malleolus, so right in the middle. The stationary arm is going to be along the anterior portion of his tibial crest, pointing towards the tibial tuberosity. And the moving arm is going to be along the dorsal aspect of the second metatarsal, which is right here. For inversion, he's going to be moving his big toe towards his other foot, and we're going to get 25 degrees of motion here. So go ahead and start moving that way. We'll keep it along the dorsal aspect of the second metatarsal. A little bit more to right about there would be 25 degrees of inversion for the ankle.